Hi folks, this is Mr. Ege. How are you doing? And today we're going to focus on creating a satellite. Okay, it's going to be one of those satellites that Boeing is creating for years. And we're going to generate a satellite from for a smaller scale. Okay, just going to create a very small scale so that we can 3D print it. Okay. So I suggest you to start your Inventor program and start a part drawing in millimetric scale, okay, in millimeters. Use the units of millimeters in metric scale. And normally you move on, create file drawing, new drawing, and then you select the English US version of it and select the metric scale. And from here you go to standard .ip, millimeters IPT, and click on it. And then click create. When you click on this, okay, computer generates an XY, the first session for you. And you basically go to XY plane and select the XY plane and create a sketch button on it, and you generate this screen. When you have the screen, I suggest you to generate a rectangle, more like a square that measures 56 millimeters by 56 millimeters. I'm not doing this anymore in front of your eyes because you have been at the end of the first quarter, almost second, in the middle, going into the second quarter. You already know how to draw a rectangle in the Inventor. So you create a rectangle that measures 56 millimeters on one end and 56 millimeters on the other end. Then you need to offset that that square, okay, about 2 millimeters, okay. That is going to form the chassis, the main frame of the entire system. So then you offset that, tilt your view a little bit from your viewport, okay? And finish the sketch and extrude 2 millimeters. When you extrude the entire system for 2 millimeters in two directions, like that, okay? And okay. All right, you have this frame in your hands. And this is only 56 by 56. And why is it 56 by 56? That's a design decision I had to make, because the rest of the parts has to fit in this mainframe, okay? We're going to send this satellite into the space, about probably 250, 300 miles into the space, with all the standard size solar power cells, solar panels, okay? And the power cell dimensions are going to be 50 centimeters by 75 centimeters. So we're using a metric scale, so I converted into centimeters, into millimeters, okay, for the practicality of the scaling down. So that's 556 by 56 will enable you to fit rest of the frame right underneath. Okay, that's the dimension. And then I suggest you to start another part drawing. This is save this one, okay, under the OneDrive, and call it one chassis, okay? One CHASSIS, chassis, how it is spelled. Now create another drawing, and this drawing is going to be also part of the chassis, frame of the chassis, and that will be saved as two chassis. But when you go to the sketch again on the XY plane, you're going to draw a rectangle that measures 79 millimeters by 54 millimeters. Okay. So why is it 54 millimeters? It will fit right under 56 millimeter by 56 millimeters. Okay, the frame. Why is this 79 millimeters? Because it should accommodate, again, inside a 75 millimeter by 50 millimeters. The solar cell. That is the reason, design decision that you should be making. I am making now for you. Okay? And as soon as you generate this rectangle, please offset, okay, this rectangle 2 millimeters inside. As soon as you do that, uh, finish the sketch and please extrude 2 millimeters. 2 millimeters extrusion will give you a framework, okay? That will be saved. Please save as both of them, both frames, 75 millimeters, 79 millimeter by 54 millimeter, and 56 millimeter by 56 millimeter. Both frames will be saved in the same place, in the same folder. Create a folder for the satellite, okay? And as soon as you save that, now you're ready to generate assembly drawing. Assembly drawing, okay, will come from, again, File, New, Assembly. But before you go to File, New, make sure that, again, you're in the metric scale. Click on the metric scale and choose the standard millimeters dot IAM. IAM stands for Inventor Assembly Drawing, okay? And when you go and select this standard millimeters dot IAM, Create button, click on the Create button. I already created now in a second. I can show you right now. This is the, okay? And now I inserted, I placed those frames. One chassis, I insert the one chassis frame by just place command. One chassis here, another chassis right over here. And then I placed the second chassis, two chassis, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, because I have 4 sides, altogether 6 sides. So I have the 6 frames ready for me. Okay, good. Now what do I do? Well, I need to put them together. I will use constraints, okay, to do that. And I do not have too many options except that right now, mate constraint. I'm going to use the mate constraint, okay? So to do the system, okay, mate constraint, this has to fit in, okay? This is the face-to-face mate constraint. So you need to select one of the items, first of all, and make sure you're grounded. Click on the ground button, right mouse button first. Select the item with the left mouse button, press the right mouse button. On the screen menu, click on the grounded. So one item has to be grounded. The others are not supposed to be grounded, okay? And before you start constraining the entities. Constraining entities process, okay, will require you to choose first face-to-face constraint or mate constraint. So you basically go underneath and select the surface, okay, 2 surfaces that are supposed to be mating and apply. Good. Okay, as you can see, only one constraint is not good enough. So we need to have the other constraint. And this time we want flash constraint. So select the flash surface and the other flash surface and apply. Okay, so far so good. 2 surfaces are flash constraint. Do you would think that 2 constraints will be enough? No, you need to have in this space to locate something, you need 3 constraints, okay? So the third constraint happens to be, again, flash constraint. So first surface is here, and the second surface is here, and apply. Now you have a perfect constraint. Cool. These parts are perfectly constrained with the 3 special constraints. Wonderful. Now we need another one, okay, between these 2 parts. So, remember, the bottom part is grounded. So that means everything else is going to fit in here, okay? So I'm choosing, again, the flash constraint. No, mate constraint. I'm choosing the bottom surface, okay? And the top surface here. Oops. Cancel. Let's do it again. Constraint. Okay, mate constraint. Yes, made constraint. Select the bottom surface. Select the top surface. Apply. Okay. This sounds good, but let me show you what that means. You can still move this, and that's not good. What do we need? We need a flash constraint here. So let's go to constraint, select the flash constraint, select the surface, two surfaces to be flash, and apply. Okay. What do you think we need here? We need mate constraint. So select the mate constraint. Okay. And surface one. Now I need orbit comment here so that I can change the orbit, change the angle, and then select orbit opposite surface. Okay. Okay. So far, so good. We have two sides. Prepared, excuse me. And I'm moving on to the third side. I'm getting them, both of them, closer to the main object. Okay. And I like to use again constraint, and this time flash constraint. Mate constraint, I'm sorry, mate constraint. You select the surface, click here, and click here, and apply. This is good, but this time we need a flash constraint for the surface, and then for the surface, and apply. Very good. And we need one more flash constraint, and we're going to choose this surface, and then this surface, and apply. Cool. Okay. Occasionally save your work. Okay, and satellite. I created satellite by my name. Okay, and this is satellite, assembly satellite. Okay, and okay. All right. And this is the 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth part, fifth part. Okay, that's gonna fit in here. Again, we're using constraint command, and this time we're using the mate constraint, selecting the surface. That's going to be on top of the existing surface, boom. And the flash constraint has to be selected. Okay, two flash constraint, and apply. And I need to look from the other side now, because, okay. All right, so there's a mistake here. I'm going to have to get rid of the two constraints. Okay. Mistake is made the lengthwise. We use the width instead of length. So I'm going to repeat those constraints one more time. And let's select the mate constraint, select the bottom surface, and select the bottom surface, and apply. Okay. Okay, this is not bad. I'm checking this time not to make the same mistake. And I'm selecting flash constraint. This time this surface will flash to this surface, apply. Cool. Okay. I need to rotate, turn around, and turn the other side of the chassis. Okay. So I have one more constraint left on this, okay? And I'm gonna go with the constraint, click on the flush, select the surface that I like to make it flush to, and apply. All right, this is good. I think everything fits nearly perfect. I'm saying I like to use the word nearly. Nothing is perfect in life. So we're just focusing on nearly perfect. 99.99 percentile perfection, I think, is nearly perfect. So all of this is cool. We have one more part left here. Okay, that's going to connect the entire system. And again, as you guessed it, this is going to need these three constraints, at least, okay? So I'm going to go with the flash constraint in this case. Much easier for me. Apply. Okay. And flash constraint here. Apply. Okay, I'm afraid I'm going to need one more constraint. And that's going to be made constraint. Okay. How do I reach to the bottom side? Okay. Made constraint. Click. Select the bottom surface. Okay, so it doesn't allow me to do the made constraint for some reason. I'm going to try it again. Constraints, made constraint. Choose the bottom surface. Okay. And choose top surface, apply. Okay. All right. And save your work. Okay. Now, this is the chassis, okay, of the system. That's going to hold everything together in one piece. All right. So we're going to build the rest of them on the next video. And thank you very much for your time. And please try to accomplish up to this point so that we can continue from here.